And welcome to another episode of the Capital Gains Tax Solutions podcast, where we believe most high net worth individuals and those who help them, they struggle with clarifying their capital gains tax deferral options. Not having a clear plan is the enemy, and using a proven tax deferral strategy, such as the Deferred Sales Trust, is the best way for you to eliminate the need for the 1031 exchange. Have a solution for all of the crazy Biden tax proposals that are on the horizon, and also you can create and preserve more wealth when selling cryptocurrency, real estate, or anything else that's subject to highly appreciated capital gains taxes. So I'm your host, Brett Swarts. In each episode, I'm joined by some of the best real estate, financial, wealth, and business minds in the world, where they share their ideas, deal stories, and inspiration. So together we can make complex tax deferral strategies simple and passive income plans achievable. I'm excited about our next guest. I would consider him what is known as like a Hall of Famer when it comes to all things commercial real estate and multifamily investing. In fact, he has been in the real estate investor since 2002, has invested in over 1,900 units with over $41 million in AUM. He's the co-founder of the Asset Management Summit, Asset Management Mastery podcast, and co-author of the best-in-class real estate book. His expertise in asset management is his secret sauce, and he started developing those skills at a young age, and so much more. Please welcome to the show with me, Gary Lipsky. Hey, Gary, how you doing?
Good. Thanks for having me on, Brett.
Hey, I'm excited to dive into your stories. For our listeners, getting to know you for the first time, would you give us a little bit more about your story and your current focus?
Yeah. So, I started investing in real estate in 2002. I didn't dive into it full time until the end of 2016. And, I just learned as much as possible in all facets of real estate, because obviously when you get started out, there's so many ways to make money, and you get a little bit of that squirrel effect. But I found multifamily. It was a really good fit because I've been running businesses my whole life. And multifamily is just like running a business. And, I started investing in other people's deals and learning the right way to do things, and started just doing my own deals. And I'm closing on my fifth deal in a very short period of time. We've had one exit. We've got another exit going on right now, and just continue to learn as well. And I love it. And it marries my creative skills and my business skills.
Amazing. Cool, Gary. Well, appreciate you sharing that. And, I believe you've all been given certain gifts in this life, right? And these gifts have been given us to be a blessing, help to others. So I want you to go back maybe to your high school, college days or something like that. And I want you to picture maybe the strength or the superpower or the gift that you've been given, and how do you use that to help and bless people today?
It's a matter of taking action. And I learned that at a very young age. I never really worked for anyone else. And it's that ability to move things forward that I have, and that I, recommend to anyone. Like, you control your own destiny, and you just got to take action. You got to put one foot in front of the other and keep moving. There's this quote, how do you eat an elephant? And it's like bite, and that's how you approach things. And I know taking action can be daunting, but if you can push through that, then you can achieve pretty much, anything you set your mind to.
Excellent. So taking action and perseverance. And the kind of the staples and the foundation of entrepreneurs and commercial real estate syndicators and operators. So excellent. So we're talking about becoming a best-in-class multifamily investor with Gary Lipsky. And Gary, I don't know if you want to hold up your book real fast. Gary recently wrote a book called Best in Class, and it is focused on multifamily real estate and building wealth through that. So Gary, what is the best kept secret you think in the book? Because most of our listeners are very, very experienced, right? They own multifamily, they've done syndications, they own big businesses, they're selling a highly appreciated asset, right? They're looking for more of a niche on how do I take it even a next level with tax flow versus just cash flow, right? And so what is the best kept secret you think for the advanced reader if they're jumping in to become best in class in their multifamily investing?
I think it's breaking down every single task to the simplest level. So you're not looking at, let's say renovations as a whole and how long does it take? Does it take 30 days? I want to know every step of the process so I could find bottlenecks. And, this isn't, brain surgery, but I think a lot of people lack that, that kind of breaking down every single task that's getting done. So I want to know, when do we need to let our turns, whoever's doing the turns, know? Is that 2 weeks in advance to make sure they have everything that's ordered? Is it 1 week? And when they start, is how long for each process of the way? When can we factor that the lease up? All these different things. We can maybe shave a week off of time. And now if we take that same strategy to everything else that we do, we're constantly shaving off times, compressing time, and saving money and making more money too, because we're able to lease it up too. So when you factor in that cap rate, this could mean millions of dollars to your property in value, depending upon the size of it.
So make sure I encapsulate that, and that makes a whole lot of sense. So breaking every single task into really bite-sized pieces, knowing every step of the process, and the key here you're looking for the whole time is bottlenecks. Like, what is it that's slowing us down from turning the unit, from renovating the unit, from leasing the unit, from pre-leasing the unit, right? From negotiating with the tenants, to getting the tenants to sign, to come here, having clear timelines, and perhaps even time tracking to figure out how we're spending our time and energy on our team members. Is that a fair summary?
Yeah, absolutely. And this information is shared for our whole team so that we can all see it at all times, and everyone's accountable. And when it's there for everyone to see, you don't want to be the one that's screwing up, So it really helps people to hold them accountable.
Okay, I want to dig in on that. Sounds interesting. So the process is shared with the entire team, so everyone has visibility at any given time on any given particular, let's say KPI, key performance indicator, right? And let's just say it's renovating these next. You bought a 200-unit apartment complex, and there's 5 units that are going vacant in 2 months, and we have a timeline for those things. So we're sharing who has what task where, and then having the entire team hold each other accountable. Is that a fair summary so far?
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's break that down. So what, I guess, software, CRM, or project management system are you using, and talk about that real-time accountability?
Yeah, so we've used Google Sheets before. So on our weekly check-ins with our property manager, we'll have a task list and whatnot on a Google Sheet. But for the construction, we'll use a Trello board because of the different stages. So, and it's really easy to use. You can move, from one stage to the next. And we're constantly looking for ways to improve. That whole process, we've tremendously improved over time, and it could be completely different in 6 months to a year as we get better and better at what we do and come up with new ideas to how to improve that.
Yeah, I've heard it saying that we don't rise to the level of our goals, we fall to the level of our systems and processes. So would you talk about that and how you've become or are becoming a best-in-class multifamily investor? Like, what part of the mindset, or what part of the hiring process, or what part of the training, or walk us through what was the biggest thing that you had to overcome to kind of level up your ability to build systems and processes?
Yeah, I think it's being humble and being able to learn from others. A great idea could come from someone totally out of the business or someone that's brand new. It could come from a veteran, and being open to that. And I run the Asset Management Summit and bring on great guests and experts that share their expertise. And quite honestly, I learn from that too. So I also have my podcast. So there's lots of ways that I'm picking up different ideas from others, and I might take one little idea and then improve it or whatnot. So we're constantly looking to that improvement cycle on everything that we do,
Amazing. Yeah. Thanks, Gary. And by the way, you can learn more about Gary Lipsky at breakofdaycapital.com. That is breakofdaycapital.com. Gary is in a beautiful place of Manhattan Beach, Southern California. I've had the pleasure of spending some time down there. I was in college in San Diego. We'd go visit my cousin, and we'd spend some time on Redondo Beach, Manhattan Beach. And I can't help but think of like a break of a wave there. So I'm curious on the name, Gary, Break of Day Capital. Could you give us a little bit of the vision for that name?
Yeah. I'm not a surfer, so I wasn't thinking of waves. I do play beach volleyball, but I was thinking of, waking up early and attacking the day and, being excited about that new beginning and just a different way of thinking and doing things. So that's how I came up with that.
It's cool. I like it. I dig it. It's good. So developing systems and processes, using Google Sheets, Trello boards, accountability, a line of sight for everybody, and then being humble enough and willing to learn, right? That the solution can come outside of the industry, it can come from a team member, it can come from anywhere. In other words, creating a safe place where ideas are encouraged, shared, and tested, right? And if they don't work, hey, let's go back to something else. But that's a way to improve. Is that a fair summary, Gary?
Absolutely. And that safe space is so important because there is no perfection in anything that we do, and you've got to be able to, you're going to make mistakes sometimes, but if you can improve upon them and learn upon them, that's what you're looking for. So that's a really key word: safe space.
Yeah, it's a cool book called Crucial Conversations, right? And I think we don't realize sometimes that, especially as high driving entrepreneurs or leaders in our companies, or where we can be kind of intense, right? And I've got to learn to like, hey, create a safe environment, right? So that people's ideas and thoughts can be shared, and we can all get better, right? And so even in marriage or family or anything, even my kids, like I have 5 kids and different personality types and different ones for, if there needs to be discipline, right?
Yeah.
They're going to respond in different ways. And so it's being, I guess, self-aware enough and caring enough to help others receive as they would like it to receive it, not versus just your personality or communication style. What do you think, Gary, about that?
Yeah, absolutely. And Crucial Conversations is one of my favorite books, and that's something I'm always working on too. How that other person wants to receive that information, because it's so easy to forget, and you stick to your own style. And so when we hire people, we do a DISC assessment so that how that person's going to react to your certain style. So that's really important to understand and kind of check back into that, every 6 months, because you forget those things.
Absolutely. Business is really systems, processes, people, and communication, right? At the core. And I was actually listening to a podcast today, and it was the gentleman who wrote the book Crucial Conversations, and it was one of their top trainers at Vital Signs, I think, or Vital something. And he says, this is his quote. He says, "What I really want is all of us to find something we feel good about and walk away in a way where we all feel heard." And he's talking about having like a conversation like with a team or multiple people, and we're in a room, and it's like setting the tone to say, hey, I don't want to just be heard, or I don't want to just, win an argument, or want to just get my way. Like actually don't. I want everyone to feel heard and everyone to find something where we could walk away feeling good about. Let's all work on that together. Let's put the challenge in the middle, and let's bring the brain power together to try to work on that versus going head to head, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's how we view it when we're working with our property management company, because they're not just a vendor, they are part of your team, and it's vital, because they're not going to put in the effort that you are for that property unless they feel part of that team, not just a vendor. So that's really critical to make them feel their opinion matters.
Mm-hmm. So maybe give us a deal story or a scenario where you didn't do it so well that first time, and then you learned from it, and then you were able to improve and make them feel a part of it. Can you kind of bring that together in a case study?
Yeah, that's a great question. Let me think about it for a second. But geez, I've always had the opinion of getting other people's opinions and not just directing mine. So it'd have to go back pre real estate on a different business, and not hearing other people's opinions. But I quickly learned from those mistakes that it is a community, and you need to get involved, have everyone involved, and communicate the right thing. Because in the past, and quite honestly, I struggle from time to time with it too, is communicating the right thing. And if you communicate it the right way, man, the response will be 100 times better. So it's really important how you communicate.
Yeah, very, very well said. And sometimes that means like taking like a break, right? Or taking like a pause, or not being in a reaction mode, but more being in a responding mode. And so again, as I know, this is like, for me, my personality type is like, I want to like solve the thing now. I want to come to a resolution and solve it, put it behind. It's like, well, maybe a little time to think about it. Maybe a little time to think about how, think through how the other side, what's going on. Put yourself in their shoes, and then come back later at a different time when you've had a chance to, have an emotional state that's a little more relaxed, right? So anyway, so we know we're getting into psychology today and we're talking about multifamily, but really at the end of the day, this is what it is. And that's just the same thing with working with brokers, working with owners, trying to have your offer accepted or won, or, at the end of the day, we're in the business of solving problems and then helping people, grow their wealth and be a part of a community and a team. And so that is the main role of the leader. What do you, any thoughts on that, Gary?
Yeah, absolutely. So I was in a business mastermind group outside of real estate for many years, and it was always the same problem. And there was like 15 people of us in this group, and all from different industries for the most part. And it all came down to people and communication, quite honestly.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. So anything else on the book that you maybe want to touch on that you feel like, hey guys, here's why you should pick up the book on this particular chapter, this particular idea that perhaps could help you become, or us become best in class, Gary?
Yeah, I would suggest people use it as a like Wikipedia almost, because you don't have to read it from end to end. You can, if there's a particular subject you want to focus on, like KPIs, you can just go read that chapter, or disposition. We also have resources available, some of the resources that we use. So if you buy the book, you'll see where to go to get those free resources too. So it's really good for beginners and veterans too that have been in this business for a while. I've gotten some really good feedback from all different levels, and really excited about it. And it is a Amazon bestseller.
Well, congratulations. I look forward to reading it.
Thanks.
So we're going to shift a little bit here, and part of the focus on the show is, solving problems when it pertains to capital gains tax deferral options and limitations. And so I'm just curious, Gary, what's been the biggest frustration for you and or your clients or partners when it comes to capital gains tax deferral? And it could be the 1031 exchange. It could be, selling that big primary home on the beach that you wish you could use a 1031 for. But anything that come to mind when it comes to frustrations with the capital gains tax deferral and or the 1031 exchange?
Yeah, I mean, well, like everyone, they want to preserve their wealth and they don't want to pay taxes. So, we're selling a property right now. It'll be a huge return to our investors. And, if I don't have a deal right away, where are they going to turn to? How do they minimize their tax liability? So, is it cost segregation, bonus depreciation? Is it, everything that you described? So, all of my investors are looking for those solutions.
Yep. And curious on Biden, he's proposing some big changes, right? Like maybe taking away the 1031 except for $500,000 of gain, and or eliminating the stepped up basis, doubling the capital gains tax rate from 20 to 40. So any thoughts or potential solutions for some of that?
Just kind of learning from the experts, seeing how they're kind of guiding us, and things will change just because they laid it out. I mean, all the politicians invest in real estate too, so they say one thing and maybe it's something else. So we'll see what they come up with. But I'm really keeping my fingers crossed, because I don't want to keep, I didn't pay any taxes this year, and I want to keep doing that. And I'm doing it the legal way by investing in real estate, and I want to keep doing that.
Yeah, that makes sense. And curious, as a commercial syndicator, now we worked with a group. They had a $20 million asset in Nevada, $16 million multifamily property in Arizona, and they had a lot of LPs, and they were the two GPs. And like you said, a lot of times not all the LPs agree, or you might not find the 1031 property. And so they were able to use the Deferred Sales Trust to defer their GP positions, and the rest of the LPs just pay their tax. So what happens when you don't find that 1031? Or I'm curious, have you ever even considered the Deferred Sales Trust before?
Yeah, I mean, I need to obviously learn a lot more about it and better understand it, and listen more to more of your podcasts about it. But yeah, cost segregation, bonus depreciation can be one solution. There's many solutions out there for people, which is great. So it's just a matter of of educating myself and others as well.
Yep, absolutely. We love cost seg, especially when you have a brand new depreciation schedule, which you can achieve with the Deferred Sales Trust versus the 1031 where the old depreciation schedule travels. So if you want to learn more about all of that, you can go to the capitalgainstaxsolutions.com. That's capitalgainstaxsolutions.com. By the way, we're also streaming on Expert CRE Secrets, since we do have expert commercial real estate guests on all the time on Capital Gains Tax Solutions podcast. So if you're watching us there too, you can also go to expertcresecrets.com. All right. So that being said, we are running out of time. Are you ready for the lightning round?
Let's do it.
All right. So knowing what you know now, Gary, if you could go back to your 25-year-old self, what's the one golden nugget you'd make sure to tell yourself to do?
Dive into real estate 100% and don't look back.
Beautiful. And when you say real estate, are you referring mostly to multifamily,
Yeah,
value add, 50 units and above, 100 units and above?
absolutely. Stop messing around with these other things that I was getting involved with and get into that, learn from the best, and then and go off and do it on your own, because it can really create a lot of wealth, and you can improve communities and you can help out others as well. So it's not just all about me. It's about, what else can I do to make this world a better place as well.
Absolutely. Multifamily, mobile home parks, senior housing, assisted living. Those are my three favorites. And it's such a need, and for housing and for care for baby boomers. And so, I couldn't agree with you more, Gary. Let's see. Second question. What's the number one book you've recommended or gifted in the past year besides Best in Class, which is an amazing book? Anything else that kind of comes to mind?
It's funny that you mentioned Crucial Conversations, because I've definitely recommended that a number of times, because I really like that book too. I think I read it about 10 years ago, and it's helped me not just for business, but for family, as you mentioned too. It could be applied to everything, and I definitely recommend it to everyone.
See what happens. Gary, are you back?
I'm back.
All right, I'll ask that question again, so we can kind of just a little commercial break there.
Right.
What's the biggest obstacle facing commercial real estate operators or syndicators?
I guess the biggest obstacle right now is finding a good deal. You've got compressed cap rates. Interest rates are fantastic, but there's a lot of money out there looking for deals, and sometimes we think we're really close on a deal, and someone will come in and pay $2 million more than us, $1 million hard from day one. So people are super aggressive, and you've got to be okay with not having a deal for a while. I've gone 13 months without a deal, and I'm okay with that. And I could pay my bills, pay my overhead. I'm not gonna chase a deal just to do a deal, because you're only as good as your last deal to your investors, and you got to make sure they're the most important part. And so you'll if you have that persistence, you'll eventually find a good deal out there.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. You got to be really careful right now, right? I really like to see some value add, forced appreciation with some meat on the bone, and not the opposite, right? Where it's getting overbidded and prices don't make any sense. And in fact, I'm selling a multifamily product for a client right now, $2.6 million, and it's 15 units, and it's a 1031 exchange buyer, and it's but it's still a good deal for them in the sense that there's still some meat in the bone to grow the rents. I mean, I'm talking $100 to $200 capture and loss to lease. And so they're buying it around a 5 cap, but within a year or two, it could become a 7, right? Without needing to do anything to the property except just paint the walls and maybe redo the carpet or tear the carpet out and put some flooring in. Very standard, but it's a tight rental market. It's a solid B plus asset and a solid B plus location. And on the seller's perspective, they have no basis left. They actually this is funny. They 1031 out of a property in Manhattan Beach, okay, into Placerville, which is up in Sacramento. And they have like next to no debt, and their return on equity is really low. And so part of what they're going to be doing is a deferred sales trust. They're selling high because they didn't want a 1031 that actually unlocked the deal for the buyer, right? So both deals get solved. and it gives them that time aspect. And they agree exactly. They're like, hey, Brett, if we can sit on the sidelines and put it into some conservative real estate deals and passive real estate deals, stock market, conservative hard money lending, and then buy when the market shifts, all tax deferred. I'm like, yep, we can do that. And so that's why they're using the deferred sales trust to get time on their side. Again, you can learn more about that at capitalgainstaxsolutions.com. But I think that's really what I think a lot of people need to be focusing on, which is solving the problems for the sellers who are selling, right? It's not always just price. It's also terms, and it's also what they're trying to achieve, right? And so same thing as a broker. I'm a broker as well. And I called them and I said, hey, why don't you 1031? Like, we have brokers calls all the time. 1031 doesn't solve our problem. That tool, it does not solve our problem. And the Deferred Sales Trust does. Therefore, we award you the listing. And I encourage the commercial real estate operators out there that are listening to this is to come with something that's going to solve their problem in a unique way, that it's a win-win for everybody versus just saying the same thing. That's why we do love the Deferred Sales Trust, by the way. So that'll be the last plug on that. Fourth question is this. What are you most curious about right now, Gary?
It's always about what's next. Is there a city that's going to be the next Phoenix or DFW, where cap rate's going? So it's always staying on top of all the information out there and trying to uncover where I should be focusing my attention to. So I'm always studying, the charts and all the data and seeing where I should be next.
Yeah, skate to where the puck is going, like Brain Guetsy, right? Versus just staying where it's at. Excellent. Last question. After all your success, helping a lot of people. By the way, he has an awesome coaching program too, guys. By the way, this is he's 12 million in revenue and over 700 employees, while positively affecting over 9,000 students daily throughout Southern California. He has founded an after-school outdoor education and leadership development company. So he's giving back in a big way, and that is really cool. You want to touch on that real fast, because I think that's important, Gary.
Yeah, I mean, that was a company I started 2001. I had since actually sold that in 2016, and that's when I got into real estate full time. It was an awesome experience, taking at-risk youth and teaching them life skills through adventure and leadership and whatnot. And so, yeah, giving back is really important to me. It's always about a win-win. And, I've been very fortunate, and, I look to continue to help others as well.
Cool. And what leads us to our last question. After all your success and helping a lot of people, top selling book, how do you stay centered in your values, and then how do you stay encouraged to charge forward to reach for new heights?
Yeah, balance is really important. I've got, two teenage girls that keep me humbled and balanced too. And, I'm not sprinting. This is, life is a marathon, and, I'm not eager to retire. So, I consistently work hard, but I also need some downtime, which I'm not as good at, but I strive to have more of that.
Amazing. Gary Lipsky, everybody. You can find him at breakawaycapital.com. Gary, I want to thank you for being on the show. I want to thank you for sharing a bit of your story, your expertise. I want to encourage you to keep persevering, keep helping a lot of people create a best-in-class multifamily investments or invest with Gary. Again, you can find Gary at breakawaycapital.com. I also want to thank our listeners for listening to another episode of the Capital Gains Tax Solutions podcast. As always, we believe most high net worth individuals and those who help them, they struggle with clarifying their capital gains tax deferral options. Not having a clear plan is the enemy. Using a proven tax deferral strategy, such as the Deferred Sales Trust, is the best way to eliminate the need for the 1031 exchange and all the kind of crazy Biden tax proposals that are on the table. Yeah, who knows if they'll be passed? We'll see, but it's better to be prepared. And you can learn more about that at capitalgainstaxsolutions.com. That's capitalgainstaxsolutions.com. By the way, as a reminder, Deferred Sales Trust works for cryptocurrency, high-end primary homes, businesses. We've closed 7 of these deals in the past 40 days alone. We think we'll close another 70 in the next 40 days. It is truly pretty cool what's going on with the Deferred Sales Trust, and we'd love to show you that. We're also streaming on expert CRE secrets, right? If you are a business professional looking for ways to unlock new deals from sellers who are reluctant to sell, and or new listings from sellers who are reluctant to list, you can go to experttaxsecrets.com and you can learn how the Deferred Sales Trust can unlock more business by solving more problems for your clients. And we so appreciate everyone out there in YouTube, iTunes world. Please rate, review, subscribe, and we hope to see or talk to you again real soon. Bye.